How do you worship God? Bottom line, the first step is to worship Him in something called spirit and in truth. It talks about this in John 4:23 in the Bible. It says, those who worship Him must worship Him in spirit and in truth. And that means you cannot worship God from a selfish place in your heart, from a place that's not genuine. You worship God because you want something from Him, or maybe because you just feel like, oh, I have to do this, I don't want to go to hell, or whatever your reason may be. But if it's not from a place of genuinely wanting to seek the face of God and sit in His presence, then you probably shouldn't do it at all. Step 2, you have to follow God's commandments, and you have to be obedient to the voice of God. It says this in Romans 12:1. It says, by the mercies of God, present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your spiritual worship. And so God is saying your spiritual worship is obedience to God. It's offering up your body, your mind, your spirit, and everything that you have, and you give it to God as a living sacrifice. And you do what He says. You walk in obedience. He says, how can you say you love me and you don't follow my commandments? So love to God, it's rooted in obedience. And this is spiritual worship in the eyes of the living God. The third way of a way to worship the Lord is through singing and through prayer. And this is one of the most important ones because it really connects us to intimacy with God, to establishing our individual personalized relationships with Him. He wants to hear your voice. He wants you to open up your mouth and acknowledge who He is, give Him glory, speak to Him about your day, really establish that father-daughter or that father-son relationship. And it says this in Hebrews 13:15. It says, through Him, then let us continuously offer up a sacrifice of praise to God. Talking about through Jesus, let us offer up a praise to God that is the fruit of the lips that acknowledge His name. And so the fruit of our lips should always be acknowledging and giving praise to God, right? And I know a lot of people, they do like spiritual dances, all of that. That's a form of fruit and praise and glory to God, and it's what He wants. So these are 3 different ways that you can worship God in the proper biblical way to worship the King of Kings.